Good morning, America. For our viewers in the West, overnight, the president landing in Delaware off the campaign trail after testing positive for COVID. President Biden faces mounting pressure to step aside. Now, what Biden's longtime ally, former Speaker Nancy Pelosi, and House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries told the president.
Overnight, Donald Trump's running mate JD Vance introduces himself at the RNC.
I will be a vice president who never forgets where he came from.
Draws a stark contrast with President Biden.
Joe Biden has been a politician in Washington for longer than I've been alive.
Plus, the women taking center stage to support the GOP ticket. Usha Vance, 17-year-old Kai Trump. Ivanka and Melania will be by the former president's side tonight. What will their roles be if Trump wins?
New details on the assassination attempt on Donald Trump, what sources say the FBI found on the shooter's phone, as new video shows the former president arriving at the hospital after he was shot. And a new timeline of events raises new questions about the security breakdown.
Slam dunk deal. Clark, Reese, Wilson, and so many others taking the WNBA to new heights. What a more than $2 billion TV deal means for the players' pay.
Struck by lightning.
I was just weed whacking right in front of some trees, and the next thing I know, I woke up face down on the ground.
A Florida teen lucky to be alive.
First, the news and the latest on President Biden in Delaware this morning after testing positive for COVID, facing mounting pressure from the top congressional Democrats and former Speaker Nancy Pelosi to leave the race. Senior White House correspondent Selina Wang is on the scene in Rehoboth. Good morning, Selina.
Hey, good morning, George. This could not have come at a worse time for President Biden. He's been on the campaign trail trying to prove he has the stamina to stay in this race. But now all of that is on hold as calls for him to drop out grow louder.
This morning, President Biden is isolating in Delaware after testing positive for COVID, putting his campaign on pause. On Wednesday, moments before Biden was set to address the largest Latino advocacy group in Nevada, its president announcing he would not take the stage.
The president has been at many events, as we all know, and he just tested positive for COVID.
The president later telling reporters he feels good, then climbing the stairs to Air Force One after it was revealed he has COVID. Overnight, President Biden arriving back here in Delaware, the president making his way down the ramp from Air Force One and into the waiting vehicle. Once in the car, Biden putting on a mask. The White House says he's taking Paxlovid and experiencing mild symptoms, including a runny nose, cough, and fatigue. His COVID diagnosis putting his campaign on pause amid heightened concerns about Biden's health, with a growing number of Democrats urging the 81-year-old to step aside as their party's nominee. Just this week, Biden said he would do so if there was a serious medical reason.
If there has some medical condition that emerged, if the doctors came to me and said, you got this problem, that problem. But I made a serious mistake in the whole debate.
That's a change from his defiant tone just weeks ago.
I mean, if the Lord Almighty came out and said, Joe, get out of the race, I get out of the race, the Lord Almighty's not coming down.
But support among Democratic leadership is now crumbling. Sources tell ABC News that Biden's longtime ally, former Speaker Nancy Pelosi, told him polling shows he cannot defeat Trump, and he could destroy Democrats' chances of winning the House. ABC News also learning that over the weekend, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, another close friend of the president's, met with him to voice his colleagues' concerns and make the case that it would be best for him to drop out. And that House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries made a similar case to the president directly. In response, the White House says the president told all three leaders he is the party's nominee and he plans to win. But Biden only losing more Democratic lawmaker support. Congressman Adam Schiff of California, a close Pelosi confidant, now publicly saying it is time for Biden to pass the torch and in doing so secure his legacy of leadership by allowing us to defeat Donald Trump. Schiff's lack of faith, a crushing blow for Biden.
Mr. President, any response to Adam Schiff?
Most Democratic lawmakers are still standing by President Biden. Only 21 have publicly called on the president to step aside, and their effort to replace Biden is running out of time. The party is planning to hold a virtual roll call to nominate the president in early August, and this decision to step aside, it is the president's to make, and it is his alone. Robin?
Appreciate your reporting, Selina. Thank you. Meanwhile, Donald Trump's running mate, Senator JD Vance, took center stage overnight at the RNC. Donald Trump is set to give his speech tonight and accept his party's nomination just 5 days after the attempt on his life. Rachel Scott is there in Milwaukee for us. Good morning to you, Rachel.
Hey, Robin, good morning to you. It's the fourth and final night of the Republican National Convention, and last night all eyes were on Donald Trump's running mate, Senator JD Vance. He's only been in office for 18 months, and he leaned on his Midwestern roots to make the case for the Republican ticket.
Overnight, Donald Trump's new running mate introducing himself to the nation.
My name is JD Vance from the great state of Ohio.
JD Vance, the 39-year-old first-term senator from Ohio, taking the stage at the Republican National Convention.
I'm overwhelmed with gratitude to say I officially accept your nomination to be Vice President of the United States of America.
Picked in part for his ability to preach Trump's populist message, denouncing trade deals, immigration, inflation, and laying it all at the feet of President Biden with a sharp reminder of the president's age.
For half a century, he's been the champion of every major policy initiative to make America weaker and poorer. And in 4 short years, Donald Trump reversed decades of betrayals inflicted by Joe Biden and the rest of the corrupt Washington insiders.
Vance grew up in poverty in the Rust Belt, served in the Marine Corps, and attended Yale Law School. While working as a venture capitalist, he rose to fame with his 2016 working-class memoir, Hillbilly Elegy, a bestseller turned Ron Howard film.
You got to decide you want to be somebody or not.
Vance repeatedly relying on that biography, especially as he tries to appeal to the Midwestern swing states that will decide this election.
I promise you this, I will be a vice president who never forgets where he came from.
And he leaned on his family, shouting out the grandma who raised him, Mama.
She was a woman of very deep Christian faith. But she also loved the F word. I'm not kidding.
To celebrating his mother, now nearly 10 years sober.
I love you, Mom.
And embracing his wife, Usha, a lawyer and fellow Yale graduate.
That JD and I could meet at all, let alone fall in love and marry, is a testament to this great country.
Formerly a staunch opponent of Trump, Vance even once suggested his running mate was America's Hitler.
I'm a never Trump guy. I never liked him.
I think that he's leading people in a very dark direction.
But the senator has been adamant that Trump's first term in office changed his mind, now adopting his positions on everything from foreign policy, especially the war in Ukraine.
We will make sure our allies share in the burden of securing world peace. No more free rides for nations that betray the generosity of the American taxpayer.
To immigration amid calls in the convention hall to send them back.
When we allow newcomers into our American family, we allow them on our terms.
And Vance emphasizing his Midwestern roots, making the case for the Republican ticket.
President Trump represents America's last best hope to restore what, if lost, may never be found again. A country where a working-class boy born far from the halls of power can stand on this stage as the next vice president of the United States of America.
Trump, of course, is not even on speaking terms with his first vice president, Mike Pence, who defied pressure from the former president and ultimately ended up certifying the 2020 election results. Senator JD Vance has suggested that he would have followed Trump's lead and would have handled that entirely differently. So tonight, here on the fourth and final night, it is Donald Trump's turn to take the stage and officially accept the Republican Party's nomination for president. Now, Trump himself has said that he has ripped up his speech after that attempted assassination on his life to focus more on unity. But after his rhetoric this campaign, we'll have to see whether or not that holds, George.
Right, Rachel, and just to underscore something you just said there, he made it very clear that he would not have certified the 2020 election. So we're in our chief Washington correspondent, Jon Karl. And John, we have to begin with President Biden. Boy, the walls are closing in on him.
Oh, they sure are, George. As we first reported here on ABC, Senator Chuck Schumer over the weekend traveled to Rehoboth, Delaware, visited one-on-one with President Biden, and very directly, very bluntly told him that it would be bad for him and bad for Democrats if he stayed in the race, urged him to get out of the race. It is a message that I am told has also been delivered by Hakeem Jeffries, the Democratic leader in the House, and also by Nancy Pelosi. So you have essentially the entire elected leadership of the Democratic Party telling him to get out. And in response to all of this, Biden, the White House has said, put out a statement in response to each one of those stories. The president told both leaders he is the nominee of the party, he plans to win, and he looks forward to working with them on an agenda for next year. But George, I just don't see how it is tenable for Joe Biden to continue as the Democratic nominee, president and Democratic nominee in 2024, when all of the Democratic leadership is telling him very bluntly and very directly that he should get out of the race.
And he said in my interview with him that was a hypothetical, that it wouldn't happen. And it's not just the Democratic leaders. It's a majority of Democrats. Polling shows that a majority of Democrats now want him to leave the race. He's also getting word that his fundraising is completely drying up.
I'm told that in terms of the major donors, it has stopped. The money into the campaign has stopped. And yes, in polling, you've seen upwards of 70% of Democratic voters saying that they would like to see a different nominee. That is very hard to sustain.
Okay, Jon Karl, thanks very much. Gio?
All right, George, now to the latest on the investigation into the attempted assassination of former President Trump. We are now learning what the FBI found on the shooter's phone. Chief Justice Correspondent Pierre Thomas has the latest now.
This morning, new details from the phone of gunman Thomas Matthew Crooks. Sources telling ABC News that the FBI's examination of his phone revealed that he searched for the date of the Trump rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, as well as dates for the upcoming Democratic National Convention in Chicago. The searches uncovered no indication of his political views, but agents did find images of both President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump. And now new video showing the moment the former president, wounded from his attempted assassination, arrived at a nearby hospital.
There he is. He's walking. He's walking.
On Wednesday, the FBI and Secret Service briefed congressional leaders about the assassination attempt. The morning of the event, congressional sources telling ABC News the shooter came to the fairgrounds for an hour and later returned at 5 p.m. In this footage obtained by ABC affiliate WTAE, law enforcement believes this is Crooks, wandering just outside the boundaries of Saturday's rally at 5:06 p.m., approximately 1 hour before he opened fire. Law enforcement sources tell us he was spotted walking near the magnetometers, did something suspicious, and was approached by authorities. He backed up and faded into the crowd. At 5:10, according to congressional sources, law enforcement identifying Crooks as a person of interest. Police believe he used AC units to climb up and gain access to the roof of a building, and eventually made his way to the perch where he had a direct line of sight to the former president.
There was local police in the area that were responsible for the outer perimeter of the building.
5:30 p.m., police see he has a rangefinder, which can be used to establish distance for target practice. And at 5:52 p.m., a sniper spotting Crooks on the roof, roughly 20 minutes before he takes his first shot. At 6:02, Trump walks onto the stage.
Someone's on top of the roof, look.
The crowd noticed a suspect on the roof. An officer climbs up the building, but falls to the ground after Crooks aims his weapon at him. At 6:12, the first shots ring out.
Take a look at what happened.
A Secret Service counter sniper from a distance away sees the commotion. He has to make a split-second decision in the span of 26 seconds. He decides to fire, killing the gunman. And we learned of a new potential gap in the plan. Sources telling ABC News the Secret Service requested that a local police cruiser be stationed at the same building where the shooter was perched. But local law enforcement said they did not have the resources to provide that cruiser. Members of Congress demanding answers. Overnight at the RNC, 4 Republican senators confronting the Secret Service director near the convention floor.
Can you give us an explanation? You owe President Trump answers.
We're going to shift gears now to the Emmy nominations. Shogun and The Bear led the way, and Chris Connelly is in Los Angeles with those details for us. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning to you, Robin. 36 first-time nominees in performance categories and lots of familiar faves from popular series getting their flowers as well.
Yes, Chef.
Yes, Chef, indeed. Wednesday's Emmy nomination saw some TV Academy selections smashing records.
It's a good thing, right?
Yeah, no, it's great.
A multi-Emmy winner just 8 months ago. Second helpings for FX's The Bear include a staggering 10 acting nominations, boosting the comedy to a high of 23 noms total. Stars Jeremy Allen White and Ayo Edebiri, both with repeat nominations.
That's how they dominate. The title reveres for the ages. Shogun.
The FX drama Shogun reaping 25 nominations in all, including Best Drama Series. Only the second non-English language series to be so honored. Also including Best Actor for Hiroyuki Sanada and Best Actress for Anna Sawai.
Hello, Hollywood. Brazos. Yeah.
The plentifully nominated Only Murders in the Building has 21 nods in all, including Season 3's stellar edition, Meryl Streep. And this time, for the first time, Selena Gomez joins the guys and gets a nomination too. Love and then some for Quinta Brunson's Abbott Elementary once again.
You gotta walk in there like, I am that girl. I am that woman.
School's in session with the Best Comedy Series selection and 4 acting nominations. Brunson, Tyler James Williams, Janelle James, and 2022 Emmy winner Sheryl Lee Ralph, dancing to her good news.
You have been nominated for Best Supporting Actress in a Comedy Series. Your 3rd nomination. Well earned and well deserved. Congratulations.
Oh,
congratulations.
Yes. Honey, that never gets old.
And Sofia Vergara gets a lead actress in a limited series nomination for her role in Griselda. She's the first ever Latina in that category. Guys?
Okay, Chris, thank you.